Good morning. I welcome you to this special Darien Board of Education Finance Committee meeting. It's Monday, February 26, 2024 at 8 a.m. We'll begin with the review of the January 2024 financial report, and with that, I'll turn it over to Rich.
So this is the financial report through January. We are showing a projected deficit of $228,515. Of this deficit, $417,591 is attributed to special education. There is an improvement from the last projection of $189,551. To go over the high level changes from the previous month, we do have a tuition placement in a public school causing a deficit of $48,488. Gate receipts for football did fall about $5,000 below expectation. We do have an adjustment for excess cost up by $55,872. We did include the estimated revenues from the state of Connecticut in the packet. We do have a March 1st filing due this Friday, which could potentially slightly adjust this. And then we are set to receive the first installment this week and then the balance in May. We have looked at our heat trends for the last 6 months, and we have disencumbered a little over 40,000. Clubs and councils have a positive 31,000, electricity 23,000, water savings of just shy of 21,000. We do have salary savings from some turnover and gaps in employment for about 18,000. Technology repairs are trending under budget by about 10,000. Equipment and furniture by 8,700. Unemployment insurance is trending favorably by 8,500. Dental claims are trending a little bit positive by 8,200. Technology equipment has $7,800 left available in the balance. Sessions at Royal have a balance of $5,600. We don't anticipate any future purchases. ELP tuition is positive by $3,100. And then use of fields and dues a small amount, just under $1,000 per month. Going through the individual RCs, looking at RC1, we did release a little bit more in clubs and councils. We do have some clubs not running, including the T Club, Cancer Awareness, iGEMS, Perfectly Imperfect, Latin Club, and History Club. Moving to RC3, we did have some savings again in Geography B, Quiz Bowl, Model UN, and then some step savings. And then we have some savings in an unpaid days due to workers' compensation leave of absence in the paraprofessional line item. No changes in RC5.
Rich, sorry, can I just interrupt you with one question? Sorry. So for RC1 and 3, the salary savings on the assistant principals, can you just explain those?
Sure. So RC1, we do have a new assistant principal. So she was hired like in August timeframe. And so what you have there is the gap in time from July 1st to the beginning of August where nobody was paid. So that's the salary savings there. And then in RC3, Felicia moved from being a department chair to an assistant principal. And again, that time frame was in August. And so what you have is a gap in time in which nobody was paid for that.
So do these show up in every month's financial report?
They do. So we haven't actually transferred the money.
Okay.
And really, the reason we haven't transferred the money is we do have a deficit in staff turnover for about $300,000. And so really those dollar amounts are being used plus some others to cover that deficit.
Okay. So they're not specific just to January.
No, they've
Great.
been
Okay.
deferred
Thank you.
since the beginning of the year. RC 8, world language, as we mentioned previously, we do have $36,000 in savings from a vacant world language position, which has been filled. RC9 Royal, we do have salary savings from a vacant building sub. That building sub has been covering in a long-term sub position, which is coded to RC18. RC11, as I mentioned, gate receipts for football fell short by about $5,000. We collected just under $12,000 versus a budget of $17,000. In RC15, as I mentioned, repairs show a positive balance of $10,000. We have been completing more repairs to Chromebooks by our district employee who's stationed at the middle school. And then equipment shows a positive balance due to some savings on laptops and display systems. In RC16, the executive assistant shows a positive balance of $8,815 due to turnover and salary savings. There have not been any changes in RC18 turnover. That still remains a deficit of $324,880. RC21 library, Royal has not purchased any accessions this year and is resulting in a positive balance of just over $5,600. That's really due to the pending construction of the HHR project. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a slight deficit in tuition public. It is forecasted to have a deficit of just over $48,000. Excess cost, the reimbursement rate right now has been tentatively set at 68.06%. leaving a shortfall to budget of $140,000. Based on the submissions from all the municipalities, the state of Connecticut's budget was $24 million short of funding, resulting in tiered reductions across the municipalities. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have a filing due this Friday, and then that will determine the final payment plus the final reimbursement rate, depending on what all the districts throughout Connecticut submit. Looking at RC 25 fixed, as I mentioned, we did look at our heat trends for the first 7 months, really, and we do have the ability to decrease our heat balance by about 40,000 due to decreased consumption. Depending on how February looks, we'll potentially take some of those savings as a transfer for the following month. And then there are savings in water of just over $23,000 due to lower rates than anticipated. And our unemployment insurance shows a positive balance right now of $8,500 due to lower claims. And then security, we have increased the salary savings to $16,175, as we did have a couple of unpaid days due to leave for our SSO at Royal. And that is the financial report.
Thank you.
Great. Questions? Yes, Robin, and then Katie.
A couple of questions. First, on RC1 and RC3, the salary savings in clubs, for instance, so Geography B, Quiz Bowl, is that because those clubs are not running?
So some of them are not running. So things like the Tea Club and cancer awareness, and then
Right.
some of them are also just step savings. So in RC3 for Quiz Bowl, for example, Quiz Bowl is running, but
Okay,
they have, so we budgeted 7, they're called Quiz Bowl helpers. And we filled 6 of the 7.
oh, it's not step savings, so that was
Correct.
just the helpers, okay, and Geography B has not.
That
been
is not running. Correct.
Okay, and then I also had a question just on the grants, on page 6, the Art Besser funds, where we had the consultant for efficiencies using 70,000 of that grant, is that going to change pending the budget, or how, because of
So we're still planning on spending that.
we're spending it even though those teachers were not cut?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going through the exercise, and go through the exercise of scheduling with the respective principals.
Okay. Okay. So even if we end up keeping the teachers, we're still spending the money to do that analysis? Okay. All right.
Thank you. Rich, just a question on the ELP. So this says that there's a surplus because 2 students had IEPs.
Sure. So that should actually change a little bit. So we did have 2 students who had IEPs, which resulted in a reduction of tuition. And then we had a couple more paying students who had prorated tuition.
Okay.
So we are slightly positive by about $3,000.
Okay. The language just confused me because, okay, got it.
Okay, so Rich, on RC 24, that shortfall to the budget of 140,000, that's forecasted in your number?
Yes.
Okay. So our current forecast
Is the
includes-
deficit of 228,000
and
in total.
includes,
Includes
okay.
the shortfall in excess costs.
Out of-
Now, excess costs could still change as we do have that March 1st filing.
Yes.
As do all the other districts, but as of right now, based on estimated revenues, that's included.
that's the number. Okay. All right, I'm going backwards. RC 18 personnel turnover has fallen short of budget. Again, that's forecasted.
So that's forecasted. We only have one more teacher left that could impact this, and that is a special education teacher, I believe, at Henley. But based on the ins and outs, we're still short by 324,000.
Okay, so, but again, that's accounted for in.
Yeah, so I mean, we won't make up the 324, obviously, with the one teacher, but it could change slightly based on that.
Okay. All right. Do we have any clue why our gate receipts fell short on RC 11?
So it's lower than the last couple of years. It's really just a product of how many people went to watch the team play.
Games.
Yeah.
I think it was bad weather for a couple of them.
Okay,
Yeah, the football Friday night.
low attendance student, but the students don't.
No,
pay.
that is.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. Any other questions on the financial report?
No.
All right. Budget transfers, please, Rich.
So there are no transfers for this one.
Okay. On that, all right. Public comment.
Good morning. If anyone in person or online would like to participate in public comment, please come up to the podium or use the raised hand icon. There are no raised hands at this time.
Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn, please? Katie, oh, sorry.